Well, hello, and welcome to tonight's masterclass. I'm so excited to see all of you here. Do me a favor, say hi as you come in so I know you're here, and let me know that you can hear me. I got a thumbs up from somebody. Thank you. I'm looking. Here we go. All the places to see. Well, hi, Iowa. We have Australia in the house, Virginia, lots of Canadians. I'm glad you hear me. Thank you. We got California in the house, Sweden in the house. Wow. All kinds of people. Norway's in the house. Another person from Sweden. Well, welcome and hello. We're going to let people come in because I'm starting a teeny bit early. So as you come in, just say hi. Tell me where you're coming in from. Oh, we got Melbourne, Australia. Well, hello. I can't even try to do that accent. I'm not even going to try. If you don't know where you are, you probably do, but you are in the masterclass that's called Subtle Shifts for Profound Change. That is what I'm going to be hitting tonight. I'm going to be giving you a couple of tips. I got Colorado in the house, got Calgary, Alberta. Well, hello. Ontario, Calgary. Ooh, lots of Canadians. Are any of you going to be at Rise next week? I'll be keynoting there in Vancouver. I hope I'm seeing some of you. Well, hi, Dawn. Hello, Della. How you doing? So what are we doing tonight? You are going to learn how to become calmly efficient and effective and empowered, kind of no matter what life is throwing at you. That's basically what we're doing. This is all about subtle shifts. Small steps create profound change and transformation. Who doesn't want that? I know you all do. I see Connecticut's in the house. Loud and clear. You guys can all hear me, which I really appreciate you letting me know. Hi, Nova Scotia. I want to come visit Nova Scotia at some point. Hello, Lorette. I got all these people here. So if I'm looking down, you guys, you know why? Because I have my notes, right? Can't have, I got my home setup going. I wish you could see it from this angle. You'd see what I was actually, at least I'm not balancing on books, which I was a year ago. I'd have like 12 books up. And then one time they all fell down. I was like, you know what? Maybe you should get a table. You might need one. Oh, we got New Zealand in the house. Well, hello, Deanie or Denny, I think it is. Yes, I'm going to come visit you, Maria, when I go on the book tour. I'm going to visit you guys. So 2021 I'm going to be coming to all your houses, all your places when the book will be coming out. Hello. Trying to figure out seeing you in Vancouver. Yes, Dawn, do it. Come see me. Hi. How you doing, Stacy? Welcome, everyone. I am super, super excited. And I feel like it's 2 minutes after. It might be time to get moving. What I want, though, where is it? Oh, here it is. I'm going to get a little bit of lavender oil. If you have anything that right now you could put on your hands and take a nice deep breath. Don't mind my hand. I bashed it into something. Wow, that hurt. Close your eyes. I'm going to ask you to drop your attention inward. And I'm going to ask you to think about a few things so we can get to the part of your brain that I'm going to want to access during this masterclass. So I'm asking you to visualize something. Visualize, basically, first of all, coming here with an open heart and an open mind, right? So what is that? That's a beginner's mind, so that you can learn something that you need to learn while you're here. And I want you to think about when you want to change something in your life, when something's not working. It could be a relationship. It could be something about your health, your money, your career, your family of origin, anything. Do you feel either super overwhelmed to the point where you just don't do anything, where you end up with like analysis paralysis? So think about that. Does that resonate with you? And kind of you end up like not actually doing anything because of it. Or do you take that all or nothing strategy where you feel like you have to then change everything? You're going to throw all the food out in your cabinets and you're going to just do the raw thing, the vegan thing, the whatever the thing is. that all or nothing mentality. So we're just trying to identify a little bit how you internally approach or think about making changes in your life, since that's what we're going to be focusing on tonight. All right, gently open your eyes, and you can drop in the chat with me and let me know, are you the I freeze or are you the all or nothing person? And as you're doing that, I just want to give you a heads up of how tonight is going to go. So I'm going to be teaching for about 35 to 45 minutes, as I do in most of my master classes or my workshops. And then I'll be taking your questions at the end. Since Team TC is here, they're going to be grabbing your questions as we go along. So what I'm going to ask you to do is make sure you put a few question marks in front of your question so they can see it and grab it. They're putting it in a separate doc so that I can see it. So I want to make sure that I get to the questions at the end. And if you stay until the end, and I want you to stay until the end, I'm actually giving you a gift. So one of my favorite guided meditations, my most popular one of all time, called Calm in the Storm. So it's just a guided meditation, a digital track. So please stay, because I'm also going to be sharing something with you at the end. It's kind of an invitation that is near and dear to my heart, and I wouldn't want you to leave before I got a chance to actually do that. All right, moving in. So what do we got? We got people who freeze. Oh, Rita's all or nothing. That's me. All or nothing, sometimes freeze. You know what? Me too, actually, depending on what it is. A lot of people are freezing. A lot of people are all or nothing. I kind of say we're probably about half and half. Yes. I try to do things progressively when possible. Yeah, me too. Solange, that's really what we want to do. Alexi says analysis paralysis rings a bell. I do make changes, but in super slow-mo. All or nothing. Yes. All right. So we've got a sort of a good combo. I feel like we got about half and half of the all or nothing or the really do nothing. Because here's the thing with the freeze. What goes along with freezing is a lot of ruminating about what you should be doing, about what is wrong with you. Why can't you make this change? Or why aren't you doing this? A lot of the times we just don't know what to do. We really don't even know where to start to make these changes in our lives. And it's not just changes about one thing, right? So what we're going to be talking about tonight is a way to approach transformation. I'm giving you different steps and I'll get into that, but it's something that's super, super important. So I'm going to give you a brief intro. Let's just say you just fell off planet Mars and you've never been in my crew before. You have no idea who I am or how you even got to this live stream. I'll just say it's synchrotastic. Apparently you belong here. So if you don't know me, my name is Terri Cole. I'm a licensed psychotherapist. I am a relationship expert and the founder of Boundary Bootcamp and Real Love Revolution. And I've always myself been an all or nothing type of gal. Certainly into my 20s for sure. So what did that actually look like? Well, it looked like I started a lot of things and then I quit a lot of things. It looked like I dove headfirst into relationships and friendships and then was like, I want to put the brakes on. But instead of putting the brakes on in the beginning and doing things in a normal way, I was all or nothing, right? So instead of just getting in shape, I'm like, I'm doing a triathlon, you know? So what do you think that is? This is a setup for failure. So, and when I was in college, I was a cheerleader throughout the year. So I was always getting a lot of exercise. As soon as that would end, I would gain a ton of weight. Then over the summer, every year, I would lose a ton of weight. I would get back to school and do the thing all over again. So that is the all or nothing mentality. Right? When I was all into it, I would get skinny. Then I would be all away from it. And then I would gain weight and get out of shape again. So these extremes had me losing 30 to 40 pounds a year for a couple of years in a row, which is not great for your body. I can tell you that much. Although cheerleading was great for my soul. I don't know what you think about cheerleaders, but I was a very nice cheerleader. I was friends with everyone, but it definitely kept me out of trouble. So I feel like that was a good thing. Throughout my own process though of therapy, and what ends up happening when you do that, right? If you're an all or nothing person, for me, I was someone who really didn't keep my word to people because I would be all in and then be like this. So I had, people in my wake, relationships in my wake, sort of, a bunch of bodies behind me of things that I was like, yeah, it's going to be amazing. And then was like regretted that I had committed myself to doing those things. I never saw the value or didn't understand before I had a lot of therapy how to do things incrementally, how to strategically destruct a problem, how to understand what I really wanted and not just get swept up in the moment. And that took years, basically, of therapy, soul searching, and actually a lot of painful relationships and people being mad at me and me feeling ashamed. I would feel ashamed. I would feel ashamed that I would lose the weight and gain the weight. It would make me feel bad about myself. And I couldn't even count on me. I couldn't even trust myself to follow through with that because I would get so swept up in the emotion. But again, there's all of these reasons why we do things like that. And part of it is this desire for instant gratification, right? It sounded great and I wanted all of it right then. Throughout the time in therapy and having these painful experiences that I wanted to stop repeating, I was able to learn the value of slowing it all down. So what is the difference between change? That's what I was doing in college, right? I changed the way I ate. That changed my physical self. And then I changed again back to the old way. So that's not necessarily our goal, right? The women in this crew, we're not really looking for change. We're actually looking for sustainable transformation. And they are two completely different things. So now my actual motto in life is it's slow, thoughtful, steady. That is what wins the race for me. I'm less instant gratification oriented, and I'm also not 20. So, I think part of that comes with age for sure. But there's something about understanding that there are step-by-step ways of creating the changes that we want in our lives. And that it's not so much about the hot emotion of, I want it to be different, I want to change. It's really about if we're willing to slow it all down a little bit, we can look forward to creating what we want in life. And that's what real transformation is. Think about transformation, the stuff that's sustainable. When you make changes over a period of time, you literally can't change back to the way you were because the shifts within you, the fundamental shifts within you, you would never fit in that little box that you used to live in, that used to be your life. Those cycles that do not work. The cycle of excitement and then wanting to get out of it or get out of the relationship or away from whatever. And then the shame, the embarrassment, the guilt that goes along with that. Those are all cycles that they're not winning cycles, right? They're just cycles that keep, they sort of perpetuate themselves if we don't change something here, right? So there's got to be a mind shift change that happens. And that's why I am super psyched tonight to teach you about subtle changes that you can make, literally step by step changes that you can make that ultimately create massive transformation in your life. So I want you to know that I teach this. Why do I teach this? Why did I share that with you? Why am I teaching you these strategies tonight? Because I understand you. Because I know the struggle. I was you. That was my life. I had big dreams and big desires. Of course, I wanted to be happy and successful, abundant, right? Make a difference in the world. Like you, want to be a good partner, a good mom, a good leader, right? A good worker, a good daughter, a good friend, all of those things that we want. And for me, I'm super honored to be able to teach you what I've learned over the past, 3 decades in therapy and 22 years as a licensed psychotherapist in the trenches with my clients. And I value your time. I'm so impressed with your desire to make your life better, to realize that you can become empowered in your own life if you just learn the right strategies, if you just have the right person leading you, whether that's me or someone else. But it's someone whose work resonates with you, hopefully. And I'm just psyched, whether you're watching this live, I'm psyched that so many of you are on here live, or whether you're watching the replay. So I want you to just, give yourself credit for taking time out of your life to make your life better, more satisfying, juicier, happier. I want that for you. And you are here or watching this after the fact because you know that that is possible, to have more joy, to have less stress, less guilt. How about less bullshit? Can we all agree? Anyone, can you just say yes, please, if you would like less bullshit? Anybody? Me? I'd like less bullshit. And these changes, everyone's like, yes, yes, yes. I see all the chat is exploding with the yes to the less bullshit, please. I feel you. And the thing is, we do have the power to create that in our own lives. So what I'm teaching you today, like the agenda, what is happening today is I'm going to be teaching you these 3 points. The first is small steps equal big change. So this is going to be a mindset shift that we're going to do. The second concept is my get it done strategy. So that's something to move you away from the idea of doing something and actually move you into setting you up structurally, strategy-wise, to be successful and actually get done the things you say you want to get done. But don't worry, we're also going to look at them before we get into the get it done strategy. And the final thing is how to change your lens and change your life. So we're going to talk a little bit about perspective, and focusing on what's already right in your life and what your strengths are, because this is a super important aspect of making sustainable transformation. So we've got to make sure that what is happening up here is supporting the goals that we have. And listen, I promise you, as always, I will teach you absolutely as much as I possibly can in the time we have together, as I always do, as much as I possibly can. And this is just one step though on your journey. So I want you to be committed to continuing your education. Again, whether it's with me, whether it's with someone else, I want you to stay committed to you because you're the only one who can. You're the only one who can become empowered to create the life, the relationships, the career, the physical health, whatever it is that you want. It's you. And yes, you need guidance. I'm an excellent GPS and I'm happy to be that for you. And I will, as I said at the top, invite you to an opportunity where you can continue having me as your GPS at the end of our workshop tonight. So look forward to that, please. I hope you're excited for it. Why is this important, though? Why is all of this important? Because you need to learn the things that, I hate to say it, but I will say it, your mama never taught you. No one ever taught you in school. We didn't learn these things. We really didn't. We learned to abide by the rules, to do the things that would get us positive approval from other people. We learned to be good girls. Did we not? Anyone here? Did anyone here have a parent who was like, I really want you to be like a baller. I really want you to be a risk taker. Go out, be a rabble rouser. Do it. Anybody? No. All parents, I'm going to say. And if you did, then it's a rarity and right on you. Yeah. Everyone's like, nah, I don't think so. They didn't teach us, and this is not to blame them. This is to say why this work is so important, because you need to learn it. And there's no one else. I mean, you'll find other leaders, but we didn't learn it. So A, forgive yourself for not knowing it. And B, give yourself credit for actually being here. And what are the common reasons why people can't do this? Why can't they take the small steps? Why don't they understand how to change their mindset? Why do people fail when they're looking to make changes? Well, part of it is reaction. We're too reactionary. As I was describing before, I would react. It was like shiny object, right? Like, oh, that sounds good. I'm going to do that. Yes, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Well, we can't do all the things because there's not enough hours in the day. But so much of it then for me was about approval. I'm talking to someone and they're like, you're great and you'd be so great at this. I want you to come in and do this. And I didn't even know how to say no. I didn't even know how to productively, efficiently, effectively look at something and say, wow, is this something I want to do? Or do I just want to please this person? Do I just want to make them happy? Right? Do I just want them to still like me, which definitely was part of my trip then. And I feel like all of us want to be liked to a degree, right? Unless you're contrary by nature, but most people want other people to like us. But what I find is that if you don't learn some of the things that I'm going to be teaching you tonight, is that we never know how to make the distinction between what we should be doing in life for our highest good, what is best for us, and what is us just having crappy boundaries, what is us just not being able to communicate effectively or not even knowing what we want in life. So it's super important. I don't want you to fail. I don't want you to stay reactive. I don't want you to stay in this people-pleasing place. I want you to move into what I know is possible for you, which is an empowered place of being efficient and expansive, creating a life, relationships, a career that you friggin' love. Not that you tolerate, not where you're checking boxes all day long, because that isn't it. I want you to be lit up in your life. That's what I want. So let's move into teaching, shall we? We shall. Starting with small steps. These equal big change. Now, this is a mindset shift, right? The all or nothing mentality that I talked about briefly at the top, and I shared with you my own thing. That is something that if you can raise your awareness about whether it's the all or nothing mentality or whether it's the freeze mentality, instead of letting it work, meaning instead of staying frozen or instead of jumping in and rejecting, right? Doing all of these reactive actions and behaviors that are damaging to your life, your career, to everything you want. And the real thing why I don't want you to do it is because it doesn't get you where you want to go, right? I know where you want to go. You've told me, hence why I'm doing this. Hence why I create all the things I create, is because you tell me what you want. And I go, okay, I'm interested in teaching all these things, but this is what my community wants and needs. And therefore, that's what I create for you. So with the small steps, I need you to literally journal about, write down about where have you seen like past experiences. So we'll do a bit of an inventory on this of where you've either done the all or nothing or you've done the freeze and then never sort of got back to the thing, started something, got scared and didn't do anything else. If you end up, so let's take something big, like you decide you want to change careers. Instead of thinking about all of the reasons why it won't work, why it's too late for you, you know, you're having your parents in your ear or somebody in your ear being like, you can't do that for a career. You've chosen this path. You have to stay the course, or whatever it is that's keeping you stuck. You start with super small changes. This is how we change our minds. Changing your mind doesn't happen overnight. That's not the way the human mind works. We have to start to consider, entertain, like, okay, so let's just say it is possible that I change careers, no matter what age I am. Let's just say that that's possible. What is the first step? Well, you want to look into people who are doing the thing that you're interested in doing. So you want to become a chef, let's say. Look into interviews from people who are chefs who are out there doing it. Look at schools online. So part of it is I'm really big into research, because research is the thing. We all have Google now. You don't even have to go to Barnes & Noble to do it. But research is the thing where you can get actual data points. And listen, someone else's story doesn't mean it's going to be your story. But a lot of times when we want to make changes in our life, especially big ones, we have a fantasy of what that thing will be. We either have a fear fantasy that it's too much and we can't do it, or we have a rose-colored glasses fantasy that it'll be magical. So it's almost like the grass is greener on the other side type of a feeling, but that isn't true. Because wherever you go, there you are. So we've got to change the mindset about the small changes, because back in the day, before I figured this out in my own life, I would feel like I wasn't doing enough. When I finally decided to pull the trigger, I felt like I had to do all the things immediately and all at the same time. But that doesn't work. And of course, that is not sustainable, which is the point. So what I'm asking you to do is do a little inventory for yourself and look at, oh, I really do have this pattern of either jumping in with 2 feet and then bailing, or somewhere in between the two. Like, it doesn't have to be exactly that, or being frozen, wanting to make a move and then finding a way of putting it off. Again, we go back to, if you find a way to put it off, or if you jump in with 2 feet and then kind of bag, all of those things create negative feelings about ourselves and about our capabilities. So we're like, there you go, you did it again. Then you have this inner mean girl dialogue coming up, which is so bad for your self-esteem, because we're allowed to make mistakes, but somehow our inner perfectionist thinks that we're not. And just because you want to change careers, or you're questioning whether you should stay in your relationship, or you'd like to learn how to manage your money better, that there's nothing wrong with you. These are all aspirational things, and anyone can change their life if they're willing to do the work to change their mind. So the small steps, this is the first thing that you're going to do, is to get a baseline functioning for you of how do you approach making things happen in your life that you want. Do you dream of being in a relationship, but you don't online date? What are the things, and you can drop it right in the live chat, what are the things, the areas of your life that you want to change? And if you were unclear of what part of your life needs your attention, it's the part where you don't feel satisfied. What is the thing in life that eludes you? You may be very successful in business, but haven't figured out the love thing. You may be very successful in the love thing and can't seem to be successful business-wise. Maybe you make a lot of money, but you don't have any money because you spend it all. Maybe you can't figure out how to make a lot of money. I mean, these are all, maybe you don't have good health and you would like to, but you don't even know because it can be so overwhelming. So what are, for you, just feel free to drop them in. What area of your life needs your attention? Yes. Let's see. Everything career related. I got you right there. Yep. Feel like I need more education. I'm 49. Because again, these are limited. Then we end up we have limiting stories about ourselves that we just carry around with us, right? Someone said the love thing. Yes, I so hear you. Someone wants to change themselves. Changing my thoughts, my guilt, my health, right on. My love life, relationships, yes, yes, yes. Romantic, otherwise, I got you. A lot is about relationships, and part of the reason that is, you guys, as a side note, is that especially if you're successful, if you are good at negotiating systems in other places, right? Maybe you're the hero child, maybe, people depend on you and people come to you for the answers, that there's some shame, at least this is what I've experienced in my therapy practice with, women for the past 2 decades, is that it's almost like because they can't figure it out, there's a lot of shame and embarrassment. And so they convince themselves they don't want it. They're like, forget it, that ship sailed, whatever. I've got other things in my life that are amazing, and that really is okay if that's true for you. But what I've found with my many clients is that they just said this, but they didn't really feel that way. It was a way to protect themselves from feeling like a failure. And so my whole thing is this mind shift change that we're talking about right now. This is the beginning of creating anything that you want, of creating the possibility, because everything starts in your mind. You understand this, right? Like, this is not woo-woo. This is not out there. Like, I'm very grounded in reality as a licensed psychotherapist. This is the truth. What you think is what you will create. So when we have limiting feelings about it, this gets in the way of us creating it. And I'm not saying there isn't work to do. Of course there is. This is why I teach, right? This is why I teach. So the mind shift stuff, which may sound like, well, I don't really get it. I'm not sure. You do get it. You need to change your mind, because that is what will change your life. And the only way we can change it is to understand what it is. So you're going to do your little inventory. So you get to see basically where, like, what actually happened in the past. How have you approached things in the past? Because this is all information that you actually need to make the changes that you want to make. So, and again, reminding yourself, small steps equal big change. Give yourself credit for doing the things that you're doing. Find out what you're interested in. Don't just go through life checking off boxes, please. Please, because you'll wake up one day and be sad that you did. And I don't even care. You could be 60 right now. You could be 20 right now. You could be 70 right now. And what I'm telling you is that it's never too late to create a life that you love. That's the truth. If you are breathing on planet Earth, you can make changes. And when you change your mind, that's the beginning of changing your life. So I don't care what anyone says. F the naysayers. We don't need them. And a lot of times you'll have friends, you'll have people in your family who are like, yeah, that boat sailed for you or whatever. They're not friends. That is not kind. This is why we can't just let any mother effer give us their opinion and give us their critical, give us their limiting bullshit, because that is what that is. Oh, it didn't work out for you, Grandma, so now you hope it doesn't work out for me? Thanks. I really appreciate that. And here's the thing. We don't have to judge Grandma. We just don't need Grandma's bullshit getting in the way of us creating the lives that we want. Yes? No? Correct? Forget it. Could be Grandma, could be Betty, could be Bob. All of these people. No. Because here's the thing, you guys. This is your life. This is your one and only life this time around. And it is on you. And I am here to help you and guide you. Yes. Yes. And there's many other teachers out there as well. But you can do it. So when you have other people trying to give you evidence of why you shouldn't do whatever, I want you to do your own research. You decide. If you want to change careers and you look into what it takes and you go, you know what? I'm not willing to do that work. I don't want to. It's too hard. That's okay. That's okay. You don't have to, but that's an educated decision. That's not you feeling like something's wrong with you and therefore you can't do it because you're less than or you're not good enough. It's literally based on the research that you do. So that's number one, is really getting into embracing the fact that small steps are really the foundation for massive sustainable transformation. So stop making yourself wrong and just start taking small steps. Do your inventory. Understand where you are, because this is how you manage your own expectations. Instead of feeling like, it's funny, I can always tell when I'm talking to a client, a friend, anyone, where they say, well, he didn't get back to me, so it's probably not going to happen. I will always say to this particular client, well, when did you last speak to him? Well, it's Thursday, and I sent him the email on Tuesday. I was like, so you're giving it 48 hours. This is what, so it's all over in 48 hours. I've held on to dreams for 15 effing years. Been like, not going down, gonna do it, gonna do this thing. I'm gonna start again. I'll start again. But you've got to look at, are you so afraid of failing or so afraid of being rejected that, like that client, 48 hours, you're like, yeah, it's done. Okay. I'm like, hi, you don't even know that this guy's not anywhere. He could be off the grid hiking somewhere, right? In a mountain. You have no idea. So don't make these catastrophic assumptions. It's slow and steady, creating all the expansion that you can. that is what gives you the resiliency to make it. The slow and steady, consistent thing is the thing that creates the change for you. And you can do it while you're in your real life, which is what we want to do. All right, moving on to number 2, because I'm taking too long. I got to get to questions. Number 2, this is the get it done strategy. So what I want to say about this is screw your old to-do list. Like, screw it, right? How many of you use a to-do list to just basically punch yourself in the face daily? You feel bad if you don't get it done. Do you have a to-do list and you keep like moving shit to the next day? You're like, wow, because I'm never getting that thing done. I feel like to-do lists can either be helpful or they really can just be a self-flagellation, right? They can just be beating yourself up. Yes, Maria said perfectionist. Yes, many perfectionists in this crew. So let's redo that, because this is not about a to-do list. This is not your to-do list, right? This is a get it done strategy. So you're going to go through, once you decide what you actually want to get done. So this could be big changes in your life, small changes, right? Small changes in your life. Either way, you can, on a weekly basis, the strategy looks like this. You go through that list, especially if you've had a to-do list for a long time, and you're going to take off some crap that you really, I want you to look at it, meditate on your list, be truthful about your list. Because it could be your to-do list, like shit you have to get done, and then things you want to do. So it's almost like a to-do list and maybe a bucket list, like a change list. We'll have 2 lists. And then you go through those things and you go, do I still want to do this thing? Does this really matter to me? Or do I think I should? Or does my father want me to do this thing? Or does my husband or my wife want me to do this thing? Right? Does my best friend think I should do this thing? But I really don't want to do this thing. You know? So we're going to take off some crap from the list so we can stop making ourselves feel bad about doing things we don't want to do. We're going to start to listen to our inner wisdom about what are the actual changes we want to make. If we were able to turn down the fear voice and say, you know, in a perfect world, if I knew I couldn't fail, what would I be spending my time doing? Or who would I spend my most time with? Or how much time would I spend working? Or how much time would I spend in relationships? Or how much time would I spend hiking or working out or doing Zumba or whatever it is that you want to do? Like, start to expand what you think is possible for you. And then we move into, actually, instead of putting it on the list, you'll have a temporary list, but you're going to start to actually put things into your planner, into your Google Calendar, or you might have a planner, you know, like a planner from Danielle Laporte. There's lots of people who have planners out there. Some people still like an old school planner. That's fine. But you've got to put something in there, even if it's just time for research. When I was making changes, when I was figuring out what to do with my career life years ago, before I switched from being a talent agent to being a psychotherapist, I started this practice of getting rid of the crap to-do list and actually creating this get it done strategy by actually putting in and then it was one of those, do you remember these? They were called day runners, I think. Do you remember them, you guys? And then 9 days? Anyway, mine was physical. I still have them all. I don't know why, but I just can't throw them out. Like, I have all my old ones for like 20 years. Anyway, I would write in there time to do research. Of course, that research I had to go to the actual bookstore or the library to do, because this is before Google. That's how ancient I am. But that is something that changed. It makes your get it done list is very different than a wish list. And I'm not saying you can't have a bucket list, like big aspirations for at some point in your life. Great. But a get it done list is something that is different than I wish. Here's the thing with wishing. It doesn't do anything, right? It doesn't do anything. I feel, for me, hope is better than wishing. Having hope and then planting the seeds of possibility. Even if now, because you do have Google and your phone or a computer, you can literally put in your calendar 30 minutes of researching whatever it is you're thinking about. Every single thing you want starts as an idea in your mind. Every single thing that was ever invented, including the internet and computers and everything from lights to electricity to cars to all the things started as just a thought, an idea in someone's mind. You have great ideas. You have ideas for yourself that are real, that are valuable, that you have to pay attention to instead of sort of keeping the status quo. And you may do research on things for a long time. I researched for 3.5 years before I made the move. But I didn't feel like I was failing. I felt like I was doing my due diligence. And that's what it is. Slow and steady. So I want you to literally change the list to a get it done list, which means it goes onto that list, all the crap you really do. If you haven't mentioned 5 years, you probably don't want to. Goodbye. So just take it off the list. You can put it on the bucket list. Maybe by the end of your life, you can learn French. Fantastic. Get it off the list. We need to move it into the get it done, right? And that is take an action, a small step. But here's the thing. Think about all the areas of life that we're dealing with all the time. We always have questions. And I don't know about you, but who is there for you to answer those questions? Communicate effectively, relate to money in a healthy way, draw boundaries, love relationships, online dating. There's a million things. How to eat well, exercise, right? Welcome back to all of you guys who are coming back. Thank you. I'm happy to see you. But as women and caregivers, and really ballers, most of us are out there just doing it. We have this crazy full plate all the time. I mean, can I get a hell yes? Does anyone feel like their plate is very full? I do. So hell yes, let me hear it. Who wants to have better health, better relationships, better sex? Anybody? Who wants to know how to negotiate menopause? Anybody? Who wants to know how to grow their eyelashes really long from a serum? Anybody? Okay. So, all right, maybe not that, but many, many things. Hell yes, we're all saying hell yes because everyone's feeling it. Is that these are things that every single day we have these types of questions and sort of these struggles where there isn't like nobody gave us a guide. There's no like, here's your owner manual from being a mom, a daughter, a friend, a boss, a worker, a whoever. There isn't that in life. And so many of the old things that we learned are not things that are basically aligned with who we are and what we want, because those things are in the past. They're really what other people wanted for us. Does that make sense? Because that really is the truth. So what did I need? When I was learning all these techniques years ago, and it took me decades, but I needed more to be consistent. And being in therapy was amazing, but I needed more than that. I needed a place that I could go basically anytime, day or night. You know, I'm not calling my friend at 2 a.m, right? But I wished that I'd had that so much. I wanted the peer support. I wanted to be with like-minded, like-hearted women who gave a shit about life in general, just about daily stuff, people who'd either had the experience already, and not just my sisters, you know, because there were other people that I looked up to in a different kind of way. I needed that community that I really didn't have. And of course, eventually I created it for myself. But in all honesty, it took decades and decades of being in therapy consistently. And maybe you don't have decades or don't want to wait decades, or maybe you don't want to be in therapy consistently to get to the point where you actually figure out how to make these small steps, these small changes all the time in your life. It's a skill set to learn to pivot, to understand, to intuit your next right action from your experience and from being guided from someone who actually knows, someone who could be like me. So all your unanswered questions, all the feedback that I've had from my therapy clients in 22 years, my friends, my own experience is why I created something that I wish so much that I had had when I was where you are right now, which is an online community. So I created that for you. And this is the end of it. And I'm going to tell you all about it. And then I'm going to take your questions. So it's called Thrive Hive. And this is basically what I wish that I had. when I was in the position that you are in. This is a one of a kind, because nobody does it like we do it, and that is the truth, monthly membership community. So like-minded, like-hearted women who want to create happy, healthy relationships and meaningful, joy-filled lives. That's what our focus is. That's what we do. Because you know what? Self-mastery is a long journey, right? This is a lifelong journey. You don't have to go it alone. I've created what it is that you need, and I've made it affordable, which I swear I'm going to tell you how much it costs, but I want to tell you about it a little bit first. Because listen, true emotional, psychological, and personal evolution takes time. It really does. Because even when you learn these concepts, you need accountability to keep them going. And I know you might feel overwhelmed, like, oh, I don't have time. I don't. But do you not have time? You're here now. You have to make time for yourself, even if it's just checking in once a week, even if it's just learning one new thing a month that will add value to your life. And look, I've literally took out all the blocks to you being able to do it by making it super affordable and making it very accessible. So there's women from all over the world in this community supporting each other, learning how to have good relationships, just doing what we're doing here basically on a monthly basis, but small steps. Everything is in little snack-sized chunks for you so that you can be in your real life and still do it. Because here's the thing with these intense deep dives, which I do as well, and you know that, it's that you got to be in your real life, and sometimes you can't do those things at the same time, right? So how is Thrive Hive organized? Let me just tell you, you get a monthly mindful focus. That's a lesson that's about 20 minutes long. It's just a video. You get a therapeutically designed guided meditation that goes along with what we're handling that month. Might be about how to have a healthy relationship with your money, could be about how to actually create healthy habits, could be about romance, could be about understanding your downloaded love blueprint. We do all different kinds of things. And actually what I cover comes directly from the community itself. So I ask you, we keep an ongoing list, and I just go through the list and handle it. Every month, you also get this beautifully designed wallpaper that you can put on your phone or on your computer to remind you of our monthly affirmation. We have a monthly mindful reflection. So it's like some journal prompts if you like to journal. And we have all different ways that we reflect on what it is that you've learned, basically to integrate what you learned. We have a monthly courageous action, and then the live mentorship call with me, where I answer all of your questions. I teach a little bit more on the subject, whatever it is, and then I answer all of your questions. And you have community, right? And I also pop up there live all the time. So today I went in there talking about, what was I talking about? Where is it? This eyelash serum I'm using that's working like crazy. Can you guys see my eyelashes are so crazy right now? But I love them and they're real. Anyway, so it's not all about serious stuff. A lot of it is just me showing you what's happening in the garden at my house, or talking about this new coffee that I'm enjoying quite a bit, or whatever. So there is also a social aspect to it as well. Anything that is adding value to my life. Because I like a lot of comfort, not like necessarily opulence, although I'm not against it, but I mean comfort, things that are soft, lighting. So I'm always talking about how to create lots of comfort in your life. You have extras. So the bonuses that you get if you sign up tonight is the resource area. So all kinds of books that you can read and resources and things that I've already vetted for you. You have exclusive opportunities for my other bigger offerings. So you get a decent discount on things. You're the first in if I do live events. So you're just kind of like in the know of what is going on with my work. We do a quarterly Tea with Terri bonus. So think that I have, it's casual but informative interviews with, say, I don't know, Kate Northrup or Danielle Laporte or Latham Thomas or Elizabeth D'Alto or Gabby Bernstein or Chris Carr, whomever. Could be, there's many, many people that we've done, but there'll be many, many more in the future as well. And then when you get in there, there's 3 months of content already there, already loaded to go. So if you're really amped, you're like, wow, I can't wait to learn, So at this point, you're like, oh my God, I hung in this long, just tell me how much it freaking costs. So you can join right now. This is an introductory rate for $24. So that's $24 a month. If you want this ongoing support, me as your GPS, as your big sis, as your guide, as the good mom you didn't have, maybe as the therapist you need but don't have, even though it's not therapy. But all of it really is therapeutically designed, obviously, because that is what I do. But if you want this support on your evolutionary path, this is for you. We hit all the areas of life, and it's small steps, which is why I wanted to share what I did tonight, what I taught tonight, because this is really what Thrive Hive is totally based on, is that subtle shifts in your mind and small steps that you take in your life. This is what's going to get you where you want to go in life. And of course, I am fully committed to you getting where you want to go in life, because you know me, that you are it for me. Like, nothing makes me happier than getting your note saying, this helped me so much. Everything that you're doing is helping me, or this is what happened in my life. So if you know you're in and you want to do it, go to terricole.com/thrive. We made it super easy. Now I'm going to hit the questions, and I'm going to continue. And you have questions about Thrive Hive, I'm going to answer those as well. But there's a bunch that got in there. So enroll now if you know you're in. Enrollment is open. Do it. It's called terricole.com/thrive. And I think someone just dropped it right there. All right. So hold on. Here we go. The questions. Oh, there's so many docs open. Where's the question? Oh, also, you're going to, for those of you who are still here, I want to give you the meditation that I said I would. And when we're done, I'll give you that link. Congratulations. Oh, we already have people joining. Wow. Thank you so much, Brenda. Welcome. They're already dropping names, and you guys are so fast. Look at you just clicking away. Yay. I'm so excited. All right. So someone was saying, I feel, someone talking about one of the questions that came in was about emotions. I feel kind of empty and emotionless. I can't stand or like any guys around me. I'm not attracted to anyone else anymore since I met someone else. I think that's what you're saying. I so much want this one relationship. Well, I think you got to try to go for that relationship. Have you tried? I mean, go for the one that you really want, unless the person's like inappropriate. So, or is it that you had a bad experience and now you're having trouble being connected to someone else? Okay, you can answer that in the sidebar. All right, someone else asked a question about their style of all or nothing. So she said, I too am an all or nothing gal, but it's so hard for me to do things slowly. I don't know that I can learn. Well, you know what, Lisa? I'm going to say I think you can learn, because I learned. So I know what you mean, but what I really want you to reflect on is how has it worked for you doing it that way? Has the all or nothing thing really worked for you? I'm going to look on the chat roll and see if you're here. And you wrote, no, not really. Okay, so if it doesn't really and hasn't really worked for you, I'm going to invite you, challenge you to give this slow and steady thing a try. Join Thrive Hive. Let me guide you one bite-sized step at a time into whatever it is that you want to create. And I'm not saying that there's not a time for like an all-inness, but I'm really talking about that the rest of our lives, we don't only want to be transforming when we're in a crisis. Do you know what I mean? And this is what the tendency, it tends to be this, that something terrible happens and we end up like there's this window of opportunity to change because everything has gone to shit. But we don't have to wait for things to go to shit. And can you identify with that? Has anyone had that experience where something terrible happens and then change happens, but it's because you're on your friggin' knees? It's because you're like, God, please deliver me from this pain. So yes, we can wait for those things to happen. And I did in my life, right? Cancer, being held up at gunpoint, all the things that many of you know about me. But I don't want you to do that. I don't want that for you. That was traumatic. That was painful. That was horrible. I want you to be proactive, to learn this way that I know is possible for you to do it, to be seen, to be heard, to be in a community of like minded, like-hearted women. Yes, right? I don't want you to have to get cancer or be held up at gunpoint. I don't. I did that. You're welcome. So you don't have to. So there is a way to slow it all down. It's the one next right action, then the next right action, then the next right action. We can't know all the actions until we start just one step. Yes, Maria said, is it $24 per month? It is $24 per month. And you can cancel it anytime, right? So if you try for a month and you don't like it, you can cancel for the next month as long as you let us know before that second month is billed. But I think you're going to love it. I really, really do. So how much does Thrive Vibe take up each month? Well, it depends on who you are, how much time it takes, right? So you get the monthly mindful focus. That's basically the lesson of the month. That's about 20 minutes. And then the reflection would take you probably, I don't know, a half an hour to do. Some people like to do it. They go into their Zen den, right? This sacred space that we create. And they like to do it daily, like 10 minutes of journaling, 10 minutes of reflecting. Sometimes you're drawing about what it is that we're talking about. So the reflections don't have to be like hardcore, like I need the answer. Imagine learning in a very expanded way. So I feel like it could take you as little as an hour or as much as you wanted it to. There are a lot of women who spend a lot of time in Thrive Hive because we have an area that's kind of like a hangout area. We call it the Zen Den. It's like this is what we do. So people go in there when they want to talk about anything that they want to talk about. So there's a space to just be witnessed, to just be heard. And the same way that in all of my courses, you won't have anyone else within the group telling you what you should do or giving you their unasked for advice or criticism, because that isn't what we do. So it's a very healthy and sacred space that we create in Thrive Hive. What kind of topics do you cover? Well, really everything that I talk about on my platform, I talk about in Thrive Hive, right? So think about what are the topics. We talk codependency. We talk about relationship issues. We talk about how to have more joy in life, how to have more fun. We talk about money problems or having a dysfunctional relationship to money and how do you change that? Because it's not just about, a lot of times, that's what we're talking about right now. It's not really just about making more money or having more money. It's about how are you relating to money? Because I've known many people in my life who've had plenty of money, but still felt like they were going to go broke and couldn't enjoy their money because of what's happening here. So much of it is about having a deeper understanding of yourself. That is what we do in Thrive Hive. If you know you want to do it, it's terricole.com/thrive. I would love to have you there. All right, what other questions are coming in? Hold on one sec. I'm grabbing you. I wish I could see the other chat roll that went away, but here we go. It's coming back. Okay. Someone else saying, I don't have a lot of spare time, but it sounds interesting. Do you think I have enough time? Well, I don't know how much spare time you have, but from what I just said, it's really about, do you want community? Do you have a desire for that? For some people, they have a ton of that in their life. But if you have a lot of community, the question is, are you learning? Are you growing? Are you changing in a very consistent way? I want you to think about Thrive Hive the way that people who are very judicious with their money or good with money is that they know that it's valuable to put $50 away. You do that for 20 years and you got money. So this is the same thing. Imagine that you're putting a deposit into your mental health bank, into your happiness bank, into the life you want to create bank by doing something. And again, as I said twice earlier, this doesn't have to be with me, right? But I want you to continue this work. If you go to terricole.com/thrive and you go, yeah, it doesn't look like it's for me, that's fine. But keep doing something. Because the thing is, transformation, as much as we do change some as we age, right? We grow tireder with age to a degree, right? So there are some changes that happen. The same way that I look at therapy is the same way that I look at the Thrive Hive community, which is that you change faster and with a more mindful and intentional way if you're doing it on purpose. We don't just want the changes that happen, like life happens and then, you know what I mean? Then you're different. But are you different? Sure. Are you different in a mindful way? It's terricole.com/thrive. And actually, Team TC has dropped it into I think it's somewhere in the chat, Lisa. So terricole.com/thrive. Yes. Oh, and I see that Barbara just joined. Welcome. I'm so psyched for those of you who know that you want to do it. I've been dying to do this for so long, and we actually beta tested it for 3 months to work out all the kinks, to ask you guys what you wanted, what was working, what you liked, what you didn't like. We've made all those changes, and now I'm opening it up to other women who were not already in my initial crew offering. So I would love for you guys to join if it's something you want to do. Other questions? Is this for women and men? It's actually only for women. I'm sorry. And I know sometimes men are on here, and I love all of you guys. I do. And I love that you're interested in all of this. But this community is it's all about, like, I want to say divine feminine, but that makes it sound way more spiritual than it actually is. But it is. It's a sacred space for women to bond and commune. Someone said, oh, we're going back to, I freeze instead of taking the actions I don't want to take. I'm assuming it's fear-based. It's definitely fear-based. And one of the topics we cover in Thrive Hive is basically you becoming friends with your fear, understanding your fear, figuring out what it is, because that is the freeze is a primal fear, right? It's the fight, flight, freeze response that you have. So that is a primal fear. But if you anticipate that happens for you, then there are small shifts that you can make so that you can actually take the steps forward, which of course is all we want. You just got to get one foot in there, not one leap, not one dive over the cliff, just one step towards what it is that you want to do, which is amazing. Someone else said, I never pursued a romantic relationship, gay or straight, just never been interested. Is something wrong with me? How can I change? I'm going to say the only question I have for you is no, I don't think anything is wrong with you. It's if you're happy. If you feel satisfied in your life, you don't have to be partnered. That's like a story from someone else. If you don't feel like you need it, you don't need it, you know? Well, hey, welcome, Solange. You just joined Thrive Hive. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. So no, nothing is wrong with you. And you can read about, there are all kinds of names right now, like different monikers for people who just relate to people as people and don't feel that need to connect in that way. Don't feel a sexual urge to do so. Don't want to. So there's many, many, many people, hundreds of thousands out there like this. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Do I have to be a part of Facebook group to join? I'd rather not be on Facebook. No, actually, you don't. We have a portal community as well. So they're basically mirror communities because there's a lot of people at this point. At least a third of the people who take my courses actually do not want to be on Facebook. So we create mirror communities for everything that we do. And that is, you have a mirror community. So you'll have community either way, right? So, and I'm in both places, of course, obviously. So no, you do not have to be on Facebook to join. Melissa said, I currently go to CODA and know that I'm codependent. I would love to know the difference between codependency and high functioning codependency. Well, codependency, if we look at the old school, the reason I renamed it or came up with my own little name for high functioning codependency is that the women in my crew didn't feel identified with the old school definition, the Melody Beatty codependent no more definition, because a lot of times it had a lot to do with being involved with addicts and being an enabler. And it was very much a part of an addicted thing. And yes, codependency in its own right can be considered an addiction to people, but my demographic, my people, my women thought that because they were not involved with addicts necessarily or bailing someone out of jail, that they weren't codependent. They didn't feel identified, and that wasn't true. They are so high functioning, a lot of a portion of my demographic, that they are doing it all. They are literally doing it all, but they are still trying to control covertly the outcomes, the feeling states, the choices of the people in their life. They're just doing it in a super crafty way. Make sense? And they would come to me. By the time they got to me, they'd have autoimmune disorders. They'd be so exhausted. They'd have chronic fatigue, because you can't go at that pace forever. It is not possible to go at that pace forever. So that's the difference. And really the reason I created is because I wanted the women in my community who were suffering like crazy to see that this was valuable. And then I gave them my own take on codependency so that they felt identified with it. Because the way that I talk about it is definitely different than the way other people talk about it. But it is the same. It really is the same prison for the person who's codependent. It's a relationship prison, because you are not free. When you're in a codependent relationship, you're not free, and it takes up so much bandwidth in your mind that it really negatively impacts creativity, so many things that I've discovered over the many years that I've been doing this. So it is very important and good for you that you're going to Coda. Right on. There is so much free information out there about codependency. And that Coda is one of them, and they're amazing. So, all right, you guys, other questions that are coming in. I think we're getting down to the bottom of it. It seems like you really enjoyed what you did learn. Thank you for hanging in with what was or wasn't happening with me having to start again. But I do super appreciate you being here. Listen, if you want your life to change, if you're sick of feeling stuck, if you don't want to freeze, if you're sick of being all or nothing, if you don't want to be overwhelmed, if you want a place where you feel, I want to start singing the Cheers song, but I won't, but where everybody knows your name. All right. Maybe not everybody knows your name, but where you are known, where you feel seen, that is what Thrive Hive is all about. It's about changing your life one bite size at a time. We're going to be sending you the link to the meditation, and I think it's here. So that means I should tell them it. Yes or no? Somebody? Because I know that we're going to be following up, and we're going to squish together the beginning of this and then this, and then we're going to send you the video, I imagine. And there was a lot of people who signed up and who actually couldn't make it live. So we'll be sending that. Everyone who signed up, we'll be sending it to. So I don't know, Tracy, am I giving out the thing or not? I did tell people to refresh. There we go. Sorry, I have so many things open, you guys. Okay, I'm just going to make an executive decision and say terricole.com/com. That is where you find the meditation. I hope that you love it. If you didn't write it down, don't worry. We're going to be following up tomorrow with an email. And I hope that you will seriously consider, I would love, love, love to see you on the inside of Thrive Hive so we could hang out all the time and talk about the most important things and then kind of the most frivolous things, all in one place. They still matter. Listen, eyelashes matter. Throw rugs matter sometimes, right? Sometimes we want to talk about the workouts that we're doing because it's fun, or a great recipe we made, because that's life too. It can't all be so heavy, right? So imagine that that's exactly what we do in Thrive Hive. All of those things. I would love to see you on the inside. You know where to go. terricole.com/thrive. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for spending time with me. I super appreciate those who stayed. You let me tell you about it. I hope that you got something out of what I taught you. I really do. And I just want to say how much I appreciate you caring about your own mental health and being in my community. I so super value you. I so want you to have what you want in life. That is my goal in life, is to help you get what you want in life. So I hope you have an amazing rest of your night. And as always, take care of you. I'll see you on the inside of Thrive Hive.